Hey, what's up, Nova people? Just bringing you another meta build here. I know I've been slamming them out lately, but just trying to get everybody kind of caught up with what's going on over here. So this is a hammer build that's pretty popular and being ran. It's a very popular build over here, and it's a lot of fun to run. I love running hammer. Um, the one thing about this build too is it's very flexible. I mean, you can run it for World v World, PvP, or PvE, dungeons, fractals, things like that. It's a pretty flexible build, so it does have a lot of different options for it, ruin wise, and you can always change a few traits up. So I'll go over some of the options here with you and explain them. The trait lineup is generally always the same. You're going to go arms 10, unsuspecting foe, defense. I always run dog march and cleansing ire. Cleansing ire is just amazing because of when you have full adrenaline, you're always going to be stripping conditions off yourself. And then merciless hammer. Damage increase 25% against stunned and disabled foes. Pretty awesome. Now, this is where you start having a few options. You're always going to run burst mastery. Dealing more damage. Your burst skills cost less. Pretty awesome for this build. So, now if you're running World v World, for World v World, in PvE, I generally just run axes. And I run hammer. You have options, so you can really run whatever you want. If you decide to run axes, there's a great one here with sharpened axes. Pretty awesome. For World v World, warrior sprint is pretty viable. Pretty good skill. There's a lot of good skills in here that you have options for. For structured PvP, with this particular build, you're going to run signet mastery because you do have two signets that you're going to be using. So that's definitely a good thing to have. And the other thing that's really good here too, you could run vigorous focus. That's a good one. You do have two stances. This is another very popular skill to run to structured of the empowered. Dealing bonus damage per boon on your target. So you got options towards what you can run. I generally just run vigorous focus and signet mastery. So now ruin wise for structured PvP. Lissa is an option that you see a lot of people run. People love it because simply of skill 6 there. When you're getting necro bombed or mesmer bombed, then you're able to strip all those conditions off with your elite in battle. It's pretty awesome. It puts all the boons on you too for 5 seconds. So it's definitely a good rune to use. Now the one thing is that I see a lot of players use this rune and they run mace shield and hammer. And I love that combo too. It's a lot of stunning. It's a lot of fun. But you don't really get the full benefits if you're running that. This has, with slot 2 here, plus 10 condition duration, and I just don't like running runes unless I'm getting all benefits from them. So I would recommend to run longbow with this one if you do. And longbow and hammer is a good combo anyway. It's a great combo. So if you run other options or for PvE / World v World, I usually just run ogre in general. Ogre's the other option that a lot of players run. The rock dog is more useful than you think too. I just learned the other day. I didn't realize. He's got about 7,500 health. He does about 1,200 damage a hit. That's basically what I was reading. So, and he also blocks projectiles too. He blocks things for you. He gets in the way. So it is pretty awesome. And then obviously with skill 6 doing a bonus 4% damage constantly is pretty awesome. So there are some options for this one. Now for structured PvP, I prefer to run Soldier's Amulet, just to have that, extra vitality and toughness and all that good stuff. You could run Berserker if you want to, though. There's no objection to that. Berserker is, always a good option if you can live. I do run more DPS. I'm more Berserker oriented in World v World and PvE settings. Now for the sigils, you got a lot of options. You could go with paralyzation if you want. You could go with energy. You have so many options. For PvE, I generally always try to have a counter on. Sigil, superior sigil of bloodlust or battle, whatever it's called, that gives you the plus power. So, for mace, I generally run mace a little bit more. If you run mace, you always want to have that plus 5 damage % mod on whatever you run. I know I have that on one of my axes. Might as well keep giving yourself bonus damage, and you figure with your hammer, when you have a player stunned, you're getting 25%. You're also getting, if you run the Rock Dog one, you're going to get a plus 4%, another 5%. So it just keeps adding up. So, but this is the basics of the build. So the only other thing that I'll leave you with too is that because when you run longbow with it, it took me a little bit of a while to kind of get familiar with it. But generally, the rotation you want to use is, pump out your longbow. You're going to want to drop combustive shot. Definitely you want to follow with arcing shot because as your blast finisher, it's going to trigger in there, giving you might, and then follow with pin down. Even if you don't immobilize the target, what you want to do in between this, so maybe after arcing shot or right after combustive shot, pop berserker stance if you have it available. This is going to give you full adrenaline pretty much immediately. After you're done with this rotation, boom, you can simply pop the Earthshaker and just slam it on them, and it's pretty devastating because a lot of times what you can do is if you get it right, you can lock them up. You can lock them up in the combustive shot, and then it's just devastating, and it's pretty brutal. So it's a lot of fun too. I love hammers, so but have fun.